Hey guys, it's Rob again with another NBA update. We'll get to some hockey probably in what happened last night tomorrow. I'm recording this with about 4 minutes left in the Toronto-Cleveland first half. Right now it's Toronto 43, Cleveland 36. Just finished dinner, so I'm going to pay a little bit closer attention to this game as it goes along. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Obviously, I was wondering what we thought, if the early game would be interesting. It was not. The Magic couldn't hang with the Pistons. And as has kind of been the case the whole series, it was the Paolo Banchero show for the Magic with a little bit of help from others. I think Wendell Carter and Desmond Bain, basically. For the Pistons, it wasn't just the Cade Cunningham show. We've talked about this a little bit in the past on these shows. Tobias Harris poured in 30, which is fantastic. Can he do that on a consistent basis? Well, he's proven he can't. He's been okay, but it's basically been Cade Cunningham and something. But yeah, can the Pistons really keep that up and run that forward into the next round against whoever they face? They're facing Toronto. I don't know. These Toronto Cleveland games have been crazy. I've got some people talking about the James Harden effect. I know that's well documented. The guy just can't win in the playoffs for the most part. Kind of goes into ghost mode and turns the ball over a ton. But yeah, it's interesting to see what Detroit will do. This is fascinating. They're the 1 seed. They don't really look like it. But then again, did the Knicks look like the 1 seed? I've heard people say that they haven't outright said it. They haven't outright said the Sixers are the best team left in the playoffs. But you can make a case. I wouldn't. But thinking about it, I was thinking this is not one of the better supporting casts. But maybe this is one of the better supporting casts that Joel Embiid has ever had with Edgecombe, Maxey, George, maybe some Oubre, whatever, some other poo-poo platter of anything. It's a phrase my mentor used to use. I don't know if he still does it. But I always remembered that. That was one of my favorite football broadcasting moments from back at GCH, my first spot in any kind of media besides college radio, which was mostly music, which was jazz and electronica. Some more info. You're seeing the TV screen. I have the Raptors and Cavs on. We got about 4 minutes left in the first half. So we'll see what develops in this game. This will be fascinating. Whatever happens, I don't know what the heck's going to happen in the East. I don't know. I guess in the West, we're still talking about the Thunder being prohibitive favorites. I think the Spurs have a shot. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see. I'm not going to put a poll up because I'm not. We'll see. If you got any thoughts on it, leave them comments leave those comments on my story. Let me know what you think. Are the Cavs going to win? Are the Raptors going to win? Who is the East favorite? Is it the guys I've been talking about? Or are the Knicks paper tigers who just played a far inferior opponent who they obviously won by 51 in the last game, but that was not it was the 6-game series, but they were down 2-1, and as Rob Adams said, I'll bring back the guy. Rob Adams is the mentor, the poo-poo platter, the football announcer. He's the guy. He's the man. If you need any play-by-play or anything in the New York, Connecticut, metro area, New Jersey, he'll do it. That guy is a beast. But yeah, I'm cross-promoting. He's fantastic. I appreciate him so much. He did so much for me. He got me into it. He pushed me up the ladder. He made me what I am, which is not much, but he made me better than I was. So I appreciate that. And I'm trying to build up as many of these kind of really good media guys who are just good guys who are also very smart. He knows everything about everything that's ever happened with the Yankees and the Steelers. So yeah, if you can catch a podcast with him on it, you can catch mine. It's not his best. It's his best. But yeah, he's dealing with me. But yeah, he was on some other podcast. I'm not gonna. I'll see about promoting them in the future. I'm gonna talk to them. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, check him out. Search Rob Adams on wherever. I think if you search a name, I don't know. I'm new to podcasting. I listen to some. Basically, I search them by titles. I'm assuming on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, you can search for names and it'll come up with guests because he's in the titles. So search Rob Adams. If not, if you know me, DM me. I'll tell you where to look for him. I'll tell you what podcast to just listen to. It was fantastic. It was short, which is great. It's a quick listen. You can do it in your car. You can do it on a ride to work or to the coffee shop. It's 2 parts. So do one day, or on the way to work. Do one on the way, one on the way back. 15 minutes each. That's a hint. It's really good stuff. But yeah, what do we got in the East? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm changing my tune on the Sixers. I'm not changing my tune completely. I still think the Knicks should get by them. But I'm coming to realize that maybe this is one of Embiid's better teams. Maybe he's not just going to flame out. Maybe this will be a tough series. I don't know. The East, maybe I haven't made this clear, but whatever I said about the Knicks being the favorites and them having the path, the East is wild. There's nothing that's guaranteed in the East. And again, all the experts are predicting that OKC's got the cakewalk. Not a cakewalk, but they're going to get by the Lakers and presumably the Spurs. But who knows? The Spurs have been good. And I forget who it was, but probably Shams Charania, I think. But yeah, someone said his graph is now a hockey stick. His potential, his growth, his upswing, it's a hockey stick. So yeah, he's that team. They're good. I think a lot of people are talking about this. If we get to see, if I get to see the Spurs and the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, and I know we haven't talked a lot about the West. We got a little bit into the Lakers-Rockets series. That was interesting. Lakers did get by, as we talked about. But yeah, if we get to see the Thunder and the Spurs, and I prognosticate. I know some people don't. I do. I'm not going to say I'm going to be 100% right. I'm not even going to say I'm going to be accurate. But I think if you're paying attention, the Spurs and the Thunder are, maybe the Lakers make some moves. I don't know. Who knows what happens with LeBron James? And Luka's great. He's going to elevate that team when he comes back. He's going to elevate that team for the future. I'm sure Pelinka and whoever they bring in, I've heard rumors that, I don't know if it's a rumor, but, one of these Lakers focused pages is talking to, but I know they're reshaping the front office with the Dodgers influence and saying, yeah, we want to kind of do this the way the Dodgers did it and make moves that way. So there was a discussion on the Lakers page that maybe Bob Myers comes in. That would be amazing for the Lakers. That was great for Golden State. And the guy knows when to get out. They had one run after that. But yeah, that team, they're not the same. And obviously they run Butler. We'll see what happens. But, what I'm saying, the next 7 to 12 years, if everything goes as it seems like it's going to go, it's going to be the Spurs and the Thunder in the West. And whoever comes out of the West is going to be the favorite in the NBA Finals. Probably this year, and I'm assuming for the next 7 to 10, 12 years, depending on what kind of contracts the Thunder are set. They've got enough assets to go whatever direction they want. They can figure that out. They'll be fine. Wembanyama's there in San Antonio, but they've got a lot of young pieces, but they got to work out what they're gonna do. They're still working on it. They're young. The Thunder were young last year. They were expected to win, but they weren't expected to win because they were so young. So is that the Spurs this year, or the Spurs a year away, or are they never gonna get by the Thunder, or will it be back and forth where we see the Thunder get 4 championships over the next 10 years, and the Spurs get 3, and a couple other teams get 2 or 3. I don't know. But yeah, I think the Spurs and the Thunder are basically your teams. Maybe you don't like them. I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts. Do you like these teams? I know there's a lot of hate for the Thunder because it's not exciting ball. It's SGA. Foul machine. He drives. He garners the fouls. He's looking for contact. But yeah, they're a talented team. And those Spurs, they are talented too. I'm not saying anything anyone doesn't know. This is, it's obvious. If you're watching the NBA, the Thunder and the Spurs are the teams to beat for the next 10 years. At least 10 years. The Thunder will be there for 10. The Spurs got 5, 8. They may be 10. We'll see what happens with them. But yeah, we'll see. But this year, right now, Toronto's up by 6 with about 2 minutes left. RJ Barrett just poured in his 9th point. James Harden's handling it. He's going to turn. He makes a pass. I'm not going to do play-by-play. It's not my thing. I'll get Rob Adams to do that. But yeah, we'll see. The Thunder, the Spurs. But in the East, what do we got? What the heck do we got in the East? What is going to happen in this Toronto-Cleveland game? And what will the Pistons bring to the second round against whoever they face? What are we going to see? It's fascinating. So tune in. I'll be doing my podcast. It'll be a repeat this week. We will be putting out content, and this I'll keep updating you. There will be content regarding the NBA playoffs. I've got some people to buy in. I'm doing some short, quick hitters. Hopefully, I've got 2 or 3 people doing that. Maybe 4. We'll see what we can do. Talk to a couple people. Talk to 3 people. 4th person's kind of a guy I know I can rely on. So we'll see what we do. But yeah, I'm hoping to get 3 or 4 different voices on the NBA discussing similar, varied, different, but some stuff with overlap where we get different opinions. We get my voice. We get some other guests. We get the thoughts of a lot of different people who have watched the NBA. Some diligently, some more casually, but everyone tunes in for the NBA playoffs. And, some of them are Knicks fans, some of them Knicks supporters, some of them just know the Knicks and know the playoffs and understand what's going on. But yeah, we'll see what's up. Let's see what happens in the East. Let's see what happens with this Toronto-Cleveland game. By the time you get this, it'll probably be third quarter. But yeah, I'm recording this with a little bit of time left in the first half. The Thunder. I'm stuck on the Thunder. The Thunder and the Spurs. That's the thing. But the Toronto Raptors are up by 3 with about a minute left. Scotty Barnes just picks up his third. He'll probably be out. Well, you never know. Maybe he'll come back for an offensive possession at the end of this half. But I'm assuming he'll be out for the rest of this half mostly, which is just 50 seconds. But it's a 3-point game now. Cleveland's closing in. Cleveland, another team, underachievers this year. Just finishing in the 4th seed. They came in with high expectations. And this is going way longer than I anticipated, but I'll allow it. And I know I want to get some shorts out. I really want to get some under 3-minute content that I can put on YouTube Shorts. But this will go on YouTube. I'll post it via socials. A link. Yeah, it's a 3-point game. But yeah, the one of the things I heard, and it was said on ESPN's the worldwide leader. That's where you get your stuff. I try to tune into other sources. I do. But yeah, I've got some information from other spots. I love other spots. But yeah, there was someone on ESPN who was saying, last year, beginning of this year, coming into this year, people were saying, not based on the situation. I'm not saying they're the same player. That would be insane. But based on what was happening in Milwaukee, people on ESPN were saying at the beginning of this year, people in Milwaukee would have said Evan Mobley for Giannis Antetokounmpo, whatever, maybe some small pieces, but basically straight up would have been a fine trade to get the guy dissatisfied, the dysfunction going on out of Milwaukee, and get a good piece back who's a young player with high upside, lots of potential, lots of a major skill set with a lot of different varied parts, great defender, ball handler, shooter, inside, outside, everything. It's not Giannis. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if you had, these guys were saying, there's no poll. I don't think this was discussed with GMs, but just insiders at ESPN or reporters at ESPN saying basically, and I'll try and cite this at some point. I would love to give you the name. I have no clue who it was, but I just remember hearing on ESPN basically the thought that if you could move Giannis for Evan Mobley and maybe whatever, some random pieces on the Cavs, I'm not saying who because they literally said at the beginning of this year, and I know my basketball. I'm not gonna say I would say this, but I can understand this. If you're Giannis and you're the Bucks and you're saying this ain't working, you're unhappy, you whatever, you don't want to be here. We're not in the right frame to be where you're gonna take us. Now they've got Taylor I'm blanking, ex Grizzlies coach. I'll post it, but yeah, the ex-Grizzlies coach, Taylor Jenkins. They've got Taylor Jenkins now. It's not Doc Rivers anymore. It's not the guy who won a championship in Boston, basically flamed out everywhere else. But they've got Taylor Jenkins, who's a bona fide coach. Sorry about that, guys. I like to mute that. That's my fault. But yeah, that's poor media work. But Taylor Jenkins, so they're on a different trajectory. So maybe Giannis, I don't know. We talked. I haven't talked it here, but it's been talked about Giannis to the Knicks. But yeah, the point being, Giannis to Cleveland for something with major focus on Evan Mobley would have been considered a fair and, win for the Bucks in terms of mindset and what we're doing and who wants to be here and what we're getting and how it will work out. And, maybe they would make some other moves. But, yeah, that was considered, at least according to some people at ESPN, that was said, that would be the move that would have made sense. Now, Evan Mobley's declined in value. So the Cavs, they haven't had the season they anticipated. They brought in James Harden. I don't know. Darius Garland, James Harden. I don't know. Donovan Mitchell. I love Donovan Mitchell. I think the world loves Donovan Mitchell. Maybe not. I'm sure some Knicks fans hate him, but if you're a fan of basketball, Donovan Mitchell, player. He's a player. Yeah, but these Cavs, I don't know. 7 games with the Raptors in a dogfight at half. In that game 7. Wow. The Magic, the Pistons, nuts. Just a crazy Eastern Conference, and Boston, Philly, and Philly getting by, and possibly Embiid having the year to do it. And I've heard people say Embiid's skill set. He's always had the skill set. He's never gotten past the Knicks. He's never advanced in the playoffs, really any kind of major fashion. He's been hurt. He's dealt with shit. He's dealt with stuff. I'll crop that. Sorry. There was a minor, it wasn't a full word, but yeah, maybe I'll bleep it. So this makes sense. But yeah, he's dealt with stuff. And there's been strife. There's been problems. There's been coaches that haven't done their job. But Embiid has always been there. He's never been to the finals. He's not a playoffs player. But Embiid's skill set and this cast, really considering it, I've been talking VJ Edgecombe, I've been talking Tyrese Maxey, but really considering it, maybe I'm the East. No team in the East has emerged. Not even the Knicks. That's just the way it goes. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Let me know. I'm not gonna put a poll, but if you got a comment, you got a thought on Toronto and Cleveland or anything in the NBA, let me know. I will respond on to what you say. I'll bring it up in a post, a reel, a YouTube video. We'll discuss it. It'll get brought to light. Bring up your thoughts. I will bring them out to whoever's listening. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the evening. I should be back. Well, we'll see. I've got some stuff to do, but I'll try and record something late, whether that's right after this game or much later tonight. You'll have something by the morning on the results of the night, or at the very least by noon or 1 o'clock tomorrow. You'll have a what happened last night. But yeah, we'll get something out about the entire results of this game, probably some NHL stuff, and we'll talk. The Mets lost. The Mets won today, but the Mets lost last night. The Angels beat them. Fantastic. We shouldn't talk about that. This is NBA. This is NHL. This is the playoffs. That's what we're focused on. We'll get to the Mets later on when we do the live podcasts over the summer. If we get to, I've run all the stuff to get that sorted out, and I'm very nervous about it. I've done live stuff with broadcasting, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Anything can go wrong or right live. So tune into those when they come out. See me. See what happens. See the guests. See the abject fear in our eyes as we face the world naked, just live. We won't actually be naked, just a term. But let's watch these playoffs and don't think about the image.